Okay guys, this is a test I've been really wanting to do for a little while. I primarily hunt with a recurve, as most of my friends know, but my recurve out on repairs right now and I don't know when I'm gonna have it back. So in the free time that I have here, I'm gonna go mess around my backup bow, my compound, which I never even had set up a whole bunch of time, and then with my recurve almost breaking during my recent lanai hunt, I learned real fast I better have this all squared away as well. But this is a test I've been really wanting to do for a while. I have a video that depicts an axis deer in lanai ducking one of my friend's arrows, and it's something that I've known and hunted for a little while when I was a little kid, and I've had a lot of deer duck my arrows. I hit them in the back strap, so you just straight plain miss them. But what I've been trying to figure out is, has it been the sound of the bow, or is it the sound of the arrow that they hear? And from my experience, because I also hunt with the recurve really close, I've never had deer actually duck my arrow with the recurve, strangely enough, although I'm in close proximity and the arrow is a lot slower. So I begun to think that it's the sound of the arrow. And when I used to shoot a little bit faster bow that was a little more noisy, it would actually get more ducking. When I actually shot a quieter bow but the slower arrow that wasn't as loud, that was one of the factors that seemed to play a difference, and I didn't get any deer jumping my string or ducking when I had that other setup. But part of that problem is I don't particularly use a whole bunch of mechanical heads. I think they're great though for specific applications, and that's for other videos, and you can debate all day about it. In this video, what I wanted to do is I have a fixed blade broadhead. I use a 2-blade Magnus head. I haven't used it in my compound yet, but since I do use it for my stick bow setups, I really like it. It gets a little bit more penetration than I'm used to, but I really want to use it out of my compound because it's just easy to use, and I'm thinking my girlfriend might use this, so we'll just keep it all the same. But part of the problem is that a lot of people have difficulty getting good groupings with the fixed blade head out of the more faster type bows. This setup is about a 430 grain arrow. It's a gold tip 340 with a 50 grain aluminum insert and a 100 grain Magnus 2-blade head. On this arrow I have 3 Fletch flex Fletch 418 size Fletch. It's a Fletch I used to use a while ago because they're stiffer, but today a lot of people are using the new blazer vein, the shorter veins. And what I found, just from my guess, is that they're slightly noisier in flight than these longer veins. But I just shot 2 shots with the camera set on a fixed audio level, so I can play that, and then you can judge for yourself what's louder or what isn't. Hopefully you can hear it. I don't know, we'll see. But what I'm going to do next in this video is I want to test whether the 4-inch flex Fletch can actually steer and get a little bit better consistency than the blazer veins. In the past I've done this with Easton, a little bit more softer type Fletch, and I got really mixed results. I think out of that, I think the blazer vein actually steered the fixed blade broadhead a little better. But with this, I've been seeing some pretty decent results, so I want to test it here. I only have 2 arrows, as you can see. I'm on a budget here, and I don't really hunt with my compound anyway. But what I'm going to do is I have a bunch of golf tees that as I shoot them, I'm going to stick them in the target, leave them there, come back, and shoot the next arrow. So I'm only going to be using 1 arrow for the test, and we'll shoot and we'll see what kind of group size we get. Conditions right now, it's about 5:30 in the afternoon. It's nice weather out here. I got a little bit of a crosswind, but I'm shooting with a bunch of big trees over here, so hopefully it's blocking most of it till I get to the target. So I'll try to make the best shots I can. Granted, I'm not a great target shooter or anything like that, but for what it's worth, here it goes. Okay, so here we're at the target. The shots were 60 yards out, and what I did was, since I only got one arrow each to test, I went and put a golf tee on a different color based on whether it was the blazer vein or the 4-inch fletch veins. So basically the green is fletch, and then the orange is the blazer vein where we hit. Some variables, I guess, is my shooting. There's a bit of a crosswind here, and how I felt shooting, I would say kind of an average group for me. Some not exactly perfect, pin didn't always sit there, but kind of, you know, you test in real life situations. So here it is. Just looking at it right now, you can see that the green tees are a little wider spread than the orange tees, so meaning the fletch a little bit wider group. But let's measure it here. Extreme center to center on the green tees are about 3.5 inches, and the orange tees, the blazer veins, are about just under 2 inches, about 1 inch and 7/8 or so. So I mean, 1 7/8 is an amazing group at 60 yards for pretty much anybody, especially with you know, I got 2-blade Magnus 100 grain broadheads. So what I did, these 2 arrows sticking in here are actually my field tips, so that you know, some people they tend to nitpick about it, and they say, well, if your bow is a little bit tuned for the setup, that, you know, you'll get different kind of groupings, different kind of results. So to prove that I'm pretty much tuned in, this is my field tip with the blazer. You see right here, it's about I would say about 1.5 inches higher than the blazer broadhead group. So I mean, we're pretty much tuned in. I mean, how many guys got their 2-blade fixed blade heads whacking with their field tips out at 60 yards? It's pretty difficult to do in most tuning challenges. And then here is my field tip with my fletch 4-inch vein. It's about, from the center of the group, I'd say probably about another inch, maybe 2 inches. Let's see here. It's about 2 inches from the center of the group. So even that's pretty good at 60 yards for a fixed blade head. I mean, you can fine tune it a little bit more, but good enough. So you can see it's a field tip here, and yeah, all at 60 yards. So what can we conclude here about the group with the fletch 4-inch veins? I got about 3.5 inch group, and with the blazer veins I got a 2-inch group roughly, with the fixed blade 2-blade 100 grain Magnus Stinger Broadhead. What can you definitively conclude? Nothing really. You got to go and do these tests for yourself and see, because I'm the one doing the shooting. I have a lot of errors myself. I wouldn't consider myself a great target shooter or anything like that. I'm primarily a bow hunter, but you know, I can group a little bit. And I believe the bow's pretty much tuned in. I bare shaft tune out to about 30-40 yards. Bare shaft smacks straight in the target up to 40 yards. So this setup's pretty good. A little bit more about the setup, and I'm not saying this just because, you know, some people like to brag about their setup, this is better than that. I'm not doing that, just purely for testing. A little bit more about the setup. It's a, you know, I might have said it before, it's a 340 gold tip hunter arrow. I got a short draw. I'm only drawing 26.5 inch draw. It's got a 50 grain aluminum insert with a 100 grain tip, and arrow's about 430 grains. I didn't chronograph this. I used to shoot a 440 grain kinetic shaft before, and I chronographed that at about 274, I believe, out of this bow. So you know, got a few grains lighter. Maybe this is going about somewhere between 275 and 280 or so, something like that. So that's as far as speed goes. Another consideration, which I started at the beginning of the video, was the sound of the veins. And I talked about having axis deer that we hunt here in Hawaii. They have amazing hearing and amazing reflexes. I've never seen an animal move as fast as they can. So I believe over the years that, I mean, the bow sound does matter. You do want a quiet bow, but I do believe they hear that arrow coming, because at like 60 yards, pretty much most people's bows, you know, with a little bit of wind, it's very hard to hear their bow. It's pretty quiet. It's a non-threatening sound, but that arrow zipping through the air has a definitely something to take into consideration. I can't test that. I have to go listen on the video here, but you know, you can hear for yourself which one is louder with the broadheads and also with the field tips. So you can decide there whether that's a consideration you wanna put into factor. Again, it's at 60 yards. You can see the groups were pretty much spaced right around each other, so I wouldn't say velocity wise one had an advantage over the other. Of course, the blazer vane is lighter than the 4-inch Fletch, so you think it should go faster in a sense, but there's maybe a little bit of tune and stuff there, as if you remember on when I shot the field tip, my blazer field tip hit about I would say about 2.5 inches higher, or 3 inches, almost 3 inches higher at 60 yards than my field tip 4-inch Fletch. So that could also be another factor, but tune matters more probably than any of those things. So, and then yeah, this simple setup. It's a 2013 Hoyt Carbon Matrix. Just a simple 5-pin spot hog sight with a Beast Stinger stabilizer and it's a trophy taker fall away rest. When you draw it, the bow lifts up the rest and then it falls down with the spring. It's not the more modern one. So that's pretty much the test. Oh, I also got I have a little bit of cat whiskers on top of my string. It does quiet down this bow a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So that's my test. Ain't nothing special. Go do the test for yourself to go and get your own results. But if you're lazy like me and look on the internet and want to see what other people have been doing, well, for what it's worth, you got it, and now you can maybe make your decision based on these two. I don't know yet what I'm gonna pick. The sound. That sound of the arrow flight is a big consideration for me, and you know, I can live with the 3-inch group at 60 yards. I don't shoot very far with when I bow hunt anyway. So, all right, guys, that's the test. Take care. Aloha.